I am Randy Varsava. Let's do business for God. We have read Proverbs 8:12 many times. It says, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Let me read that a few times. I want to kind of massage that into you. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. It has been brought to my attention in the last couple of weeks. I've seen some inventions come through, start to manifest. And the Lord said to me, you've been telling the people repeatedly, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. You've been telling them that and telling them again and again and again. And he said, what you see there, those two inventions you've seen in the last couple of weeks, that's a manifestation of that. That seed, it's working. That seed, it's working. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. You don't have to be a super scientist. You can be a stay-at-home mom. Or as they say in the States, a stay-at-home mom. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. A beautiful actress woman invented one of the most important inventions the world has ever seen and enjoyed in the 1940s. Look her up on Wikipedia. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Hedy Lamarr would sit on a stool as a little girl in her dad's workshop while dad was fixing things, tinkering with things. And she would watch him doing things. And when she watched him, she said he would do something and she would completely understand what he was doing. That's absolutely remarkable. A little girl. The word tells us that when a temple was being built in Israel, this is one of the most remarkable stories in the Old Testament. The temple plans were laid to build the temple. And there was tradesmen needed. There had been no tradesmen being trained for generations. So you couldn't call, local 22 of the Carpenters Union or local 23 of the Stoneworkers Union and all of a sudden get a whole bunch of people out there to work. You couldn't get tradesmen just by snapping your fingers. So this is what the Lord did. This is absolutely, yeah, I think it's beyond remarkable. Tradesmen will love to hear this story. What happened was there was people there and they were not tradesmen. And to put it simply, they went to bed Sunday night and they did not possess a skill. But when they woke up on Monday morning, they woke up and they had skills. So I'll say that again to help it make sense. They go to bed Sunday night and they are not a skilled stone cutter or carpenter, and they wake up on Monday morning and, doing. God has installed a trade skill into that person. That's what it tells us in the Old Testament. That story is such a wow. Praise God. Imagine that. The guy went to bed, didn't know how to cut stone, cut wood, got up in the morning, said, gee, I know all about that stuff. I understand totally how to do that. I know how to use a level, a plumb line, a saw. So watch this. Here's a curious thought for you. See who's got some real guts to handle this story. I told this to a pastor. His church is about 1,000 feet from a homeless encampment downtown in a city. And I said to him the story about the tradesman. This pastor is also a tradesman as well as a pastor. And I said to him, imagine this, the Spirit of God coming upon these people, these homeless people in this encampment. Imagine the Spirit of God coming on them on Sunday night. And they possess no skills. Most of them are stoned on dope. They're a mess. And they get delivered. They experience deliverance when they go to bed that night. And they wake up in the morning and God has installed in them. Now they are a tradesman, a skilled tradesman. Imagine how many homeless camps you could empty out if that happened all across the country. Come and see me sometime.